This episode is brought to you by our good friends at NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. I'm sure by now you've all gotten back into your Sunday routines, but they could be even better. With NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get the most live NFL games all in one place, every game, every Sunday. And you can even watch up to 4 different games at once with multi-view, one of my favorite inventions of this decade. It's exactly what you need to catch all the action, make your Sundays more magical, and also YouTube TV is great. I got it this year. It's awesome. Sign up now at youtube.com/BS. Device and content restrictions apply. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
AJ, have you been watching Hard Knocks? Because I think that's started now. Are there a couple of episodes or?
Yes, I have been watching Hard Knocks, and last night HBO was an hour and 20 minutes late.
Oh no! So you haven't watched the new episode yet?
No, I did watch the new episode. I stayed up an hour later than I should have. So I was a little bit later into the office today than typical.
Well, sometimes we have to make sacrifices.
That's true.
To keep up with our favorite teams.
But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it for sure. It's nice to see your favorite team get that national recognition for sure. And I know you guys like to dunk on me about the quarterback, but I think he's going to be pretty good.
I think I'd rather be a Bears fan right now than a Vikings fan.
Oh, for sure. Rough day. J.J. McCarthy's done for the year, and now Jordan Addison may be done for the year with an ACL.
Harbaugh's out west going, see, this is what happens when you don't let us steal signs.
Actually, with Jordan Addison, I think if you're a fantasy football player, there's probably a whole bunch of fantasy football players out there that are freaking out.
Folks who bet on J.J. McCarthy as the Rookie of the Year.
He looked pretty good on
he did.
On Sunday.
He did.
On Saturday.
I'm still probably not rooting, or I'm not voting for him for Rookie of the Year. I'm probably thinking Cooper Beebe. But
well, no.
When's the last time an offensive lineman won Rookie of the Year?
That would be never.
Yeah.
Well, it's about time. Last year it should have been Cooper Beebe, Offensive Player of the Year in the Big 12. Player of the Year, probably.
Well, I sent you that tweet yesterday. Mike McCarthy came out and said Beebs might get a shot with the ones here in practice.
Oh, it's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, after his performance Saturday, right? It was when they played the Rams? Yeah. Because I think it was a standalone on.
No, Sunday. Sunday
afternoon.
Sunday.
Sunday. It was a standalone game for the NFL Network. And he was pretty good. He was. I mean, he was noticeably doing pretty well. Of course, when that's one of the rare times you just focus on a particular guy on the offensive line.
Right.
But no, I had fun watching him. I mean, the rest of Cowboys' defense was great. The offense didn't really move the ball a whole lot. They couldn't put points on the board.
Do you think CeeDee Lamb gets a contract before the start of the year?
I have no idea. But it sounds like old Jerry is not in any rush to extend anybody. So I don't know what to say.
The Jerry Jones special, everybody.
So I don't know. I don't have a good guess. I don't have an educated guess. I would hope so. Don't need him sitting out games, because what it feels like right now, don't want anybody sitting out on that offensive side. I mean, CeeDee's one of your best players. Another thing.
Well, and especially since you also did nothing on the other side in terms of wide receiver.
Well, I don't know. I'm not. My Cowboy fandom right now, I'm always delusional.
At least you admit it.
Well, I've admitted it many times. I always think the Cowboys can go win a Super Bowl. However, right now, it definitely doesn't feel like an organization that is eager to go win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Just living off the hype.
Well, and living off the hype, living off the fact that it's the largest stadium in the league, and living off the fact that it's worth X number of billions now.
Think about it. I mean, the two most hyped franchises in sports, the Yankees and the Cowboys. Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in almost 30 years. 28, so 96.
I think.
January of 96. Yankees haven't won in 15 years. And yet, if you were to listen to the media, you would think that they're the greatest thing ever. But yeah, the Cowboys haven't even won an NFC Championship game since that 96 season, 95 season, but yeah, 96.
I think it was 96.
Yeah.
The last time they made it to an NFC Championship
So
game.
I might have asked this before, but do you recall winning that any Super Bowl they were in?
I don't remember watching them. Okay. I remember it happening.
Yeah.
But I was 6, I think, the last time.
All right. When did you become like you were a Cowboys fan?
Well, lifelong. I mean, my dad's side of the family were big Cowboys fans. So I just kind of, even though my dad's a Chiefs fan, I kind of just gravitated towards the Cowboys. Something a little different, and, just whatever.
Gotcha.
I jumped on the bandwagon when I was 5 or 6, and I'm still on it. Never left. One more thing I want to bring up that I wish I would have seen this yesterday. I would have loved to talk about it a little bit more. But Tavon Austin is retiring.
Yes.
Boy, he had a good run early in the NFL. He was, to me, definitely known more for his run with the West Virginia Mountaineers. And I'm trying to think of a good analogy during the break there at the hour of, what's a good vehicle analogy? To me, he was like a zero-turn lawnmower. Whatever the fastest on the market is, that zero-turn. I mean, his ability on the kick returns, and if it wasn't for his kickoff return, I'm not sure West Virginia scores against K-State in that 2012 game. But even before they made the move to the Big 12, he was and also as a wide receiver, what a dominant force he was for West Virginia for 3 or 4 years. I mean, when I think of K-State in that Big 12 championship run, I don't think about it. When I think of West Virginia, I'm not thinking Geno Smith. I'm thinking Tavon Austin, of who was the real star of that team.
Yeah, that's a great point, because without his athleticism and his ability on kick returns especially, Geno doesn't look as good. We'll put it that way.
All right, so let's talk now. Prediction number 8. As we lead up to kickoff on August 31st, we started this last week. 20 predictions and 20 shows. Well, this is our 8th. And today is, does K-State go undefeated at home? I know you guys should know about K-State and playing at home. The Cats have not gone undefeated at home since winning the Big 12 in 2012.
Again, that year.
So it's been a minute.
Almost did it last year if they hadn't lost that last game to Iowa State.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the bad tackling and giving up, 6 touchdowns of 40-plus yards or something like that. Iowa State never snapping the football in the K-State red zone. I don't think they got it across at 30.
I don't even think they did either.
Yeah, it was a bad day.
The one thing I remember from that game was Will Howard at the end after he threw that interception, slamming his helmet down. That's the one memory I have from that game.
I remember. I do have more memories than that, but it's mostly positives for Iowa State and Abu Sama, just to name a player.
I mean, I told you I was sitting in the airport at the time. I'm sitting in O'Hare ready to go back to Manhattan. I'm already worrying about all the snow in Manhattan. And I got to watch him just run all over our defense, who couldn't tackle worth a lick that night. I mean, I'm trying to contain my anger from how peeved I was.
Got to keep AJ off that no-fly list.
Right.
I'm glad we were able to get that done.
What?
Keep you off that no-fly list. Okay, so a memory I do have, I think it was before the game started, I had to make an announcement for the students to stop throwing snowballs.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I texted you something about that night, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I think it was during when the players were coming out to warm up.
Yeah.
And students started throwing snowballs, and we were quick on that. Yeah, and I guess that wasn't an issue the rest of the night, as far as I understand. Okay, so what's the rotation today? Who's going first?
Troy will go first today.
And then I'm second, you're third.
Yep.
The home games for K-State, UT Martin, Arizona, Oklahoma State, KU, Arizona State, and Cincinnati.
Woof.
Troy, does K-State go 6-0 in the home slate.
The one game on there, and I go back to the discussion of yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, 2 days ago, talking about trap games, and I brought up the West Virginia and the Kansas game. And Kansas does concern me because of their continued improvement under Lance Leipold. That said, yes, I think we go undefeated this year. I believe that the Cats are going to be able to run that table this year at home.
Yeah, when KU, when they break the streak, I think it's got to take place in Lawrence. It's got to be a home game for the Jayhawks.
Well, that won't happen for at least 4 or 5 years.
We hope.
Given the way the stadium sets.
Yeah, we hope.
Yeah, that's more on the stadium as much as anything right now, too.
With that being, though, in the second half of the season, does Jalen Daniels play in that game? I think that's a big factor,
yeah.
obviously. I think as it stands, and I think the way, I don't know who, I don't know if it's Vegas or whoever is putting the lines on these games very early, still has K-State a favorite in every single game they play. The Cats get ended at some point is just what the odds say. Like, going undefeated, even though K-State would play an easier schedule now, compared to obviously previous years with Oklahoma and Texas in the league, that K-State's shot at going undefeated, I mean, heck, in just the regular season, does go up for sure. It sucks that K-State doesn't have that 7th home game this year, but you have the even split of 6-6, so less home games now. But to me, the home schedule is split when it comes to serious opponents and opponents that K-State should absolutely just take care of business. The serious opponents, Arizona, Oklahoma State, KU. The not so serious and should take care of business is UT Martin, Arizona State, and Cincinnati. But I do feel if K-State does lose a game or two, they're going to be on the road. I do think this is certainly a favorable home schedule for K-State. The Cats should be the favorite in every single one once they arrive. I think Oklahoma State, I'm still not sure how I feel truly about Oklahoma State. I think they're going to be good in a Big 12 contender. I just don't truly know quite yet how good they're going to be. KU and Arizona could certainly have the explosiveness, and KU should be the better team on defense than Arizona. But I got the Cats going 6-0 at home this year. But odds do tell you, and history tells you, the Cats will slip up somewhere. If that were to be one place, I don't think it's going to be KU. I think the Cats, and that's why I don't feel like West Virginia is going to be a trap game. Yes, they may be looking ahead, but I think West Virginia is certainly respectable enough this season that you're not looking ahead. The Cats will take care of business at home and go 6-0.
It is very difficult to go a prolonged period of time and not lose. The reason why I hate making predictions on games, particularly when it comes to K-State winning, is the uncertainty of how this conference is. Being that I do have to make a prediction on this, I can say to you that if there is a year that K-State's going to go unbeaten in conference play, unbeaten in games at home, this would be a year for that. The toughest game on paper looks like it'll be the Oklahoma State game. The KU game will be tough. But being that K-State hasn't lost to KU since I was 6 years old, I think K-State's probably going to win that game. I'm going to say cautiously, yes, they can go unbeaten at home. Although I am a little reluctant to say that because of just how difficult it is to go undefeated at home. I mean, you mentioned 2012 was the last time they won every single game at the Bill. It's very tough to win every single game you play, particularly in your home field in a conference like this. But I'm going to reluctantly say yes.
And I said it yesterday, take what you want, read what you want out of K-State in practice here in fall camp, in the defense yesterday, talking about some of the players talking about how often they're turning over the K-State offense. And again, we don't know who's at quarterback or if it's first string, second string, third string on who the defense is turning over. Obviously, I still believe that that's a positive. I enjoy how good the defense has been, and I think they could be really good this year. That doesn't take away my feelings about the offense and how good they could be. They're just a little bit younger and inexperienced comparing to the K-State defense, and they're going to have a growing pains game where they're going to have to learn and grow and mature as a team when adversity hits, because they're going to play some tough defenses early on. And I'm looking at Tulane and Arizona. I think that's going to be a really good test for this younger, inexperienced K-State offense. They're going to have to grow up pretty quickly. But that Tulane game is on the road. And I look at the Tulane game as that potential eye-opening, maturing, grind your teeth, growing up type of game, where you're just going to have to grind and go get a victory on the road in a humid New Orleans, Louisiana.
That's the type of game, though, that you really look to as one where lessons are learned. Early in the season, on the road, Tulane's going to have an awful lot to play for.
Yep.
In that game. And especially since as the Cats go in, they'll be ranked in all likelihood. And there's going to be a lot there that Tulane's going to be gunning for K-State. There's no doubt about it. And that's where, especially when we talk about the youth on this offense, that they're going to have to learn those things very quickly, learn them on the fly to get out of there with the W.
It's always a big deal when a Power 5 or a Power 4 now goes to a group of 5 house to play a game.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, that's going to be potentially looked at as one of the biggest home games in Tulane history. I think if you ask the Tulane fans, the Ole Miss game would be a bigger deal because when you look at proximity and how far Ole Miss is from New Orleans, that's much closer to home, and they're SEC and looked at as a bigger deal. But K-State, I'm sure, is close to being at the top. I don't know Tulane's history of home games and who they've played in the past, but I'm sure they've played some big ones. But in the modern era of college football, in the current landscape, K-State's up there big time, especially with the Wildcats coming in the top 25. Mm-hmm. And Tulane is receiving votes. So, of course, Tulane and the fans, they're going to feel like they got a shot.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. You just hope, for K-State's sake, and it's probably not going to happen, that they don't have a repeat of what happened at the end of the game in '88 at the Superdome. Sorry to bring that up, folks.
Oh, yeah, the Superdome game.
Yeah, it is what it is. History.
I'll talk to Robert Lipson about that when we do Power Cat Game Day that week.
Oh, boy.
Well, I think K-State played. Oh, I think it was LSU. They played at LSU in like 1980 or something like that. I don't know. I don't know that kind of history enough for K-State to go all deep into that.
Right.
But it's going to be kind of a weird road trip that week. But the question was, does K-State go undefeated at home? We all say yes. Mm-hmm. We'll have another prediction coming up for tomorrow's show. Meanwhile, let's take a break. Got a lot of audio to play for the rest of the show, including we're going to hear from K-State linebackers coach Steve Stanard, who is one of my favorite guys to talk to. He'll get into the depth at the linebacker position, and now they seem like they have an abundance of Mike linebackers. That's making the battle for starting job quite interesting. But when we come back, Jordan Riley, Jacob Parrish, VJ Payne, you'll hear from the 3 guys in what can be a very elite secondary when we come back on The Game.
You're listening to The Game on News Radio KMAN.
The word elite has been thrown around quite a bit in this preseason here on this show. Not just talking about K-State football, but also, some K-State basketball, all elite wrestling. But the word elite has been thrown around not just by us. A lot of podcasts, fans, critics of what this K-State secondary can potentially be. On this K-State secondary, when we look at the starting lineup or what will most likely be the starting lineup, you have Keenan Garber, Jacob Parrish at the corners, and at safeties, you have Marquise Siegel, VJ Payne, and in Jordan Riley. There's only one that does not have double-digit starts in their career, and it's the guy that's been here the longest, in Keenan Garber. But the kid has come on greatly since the Big 12 championship game in 2022, even though he wasn't the top starter every week for K-State at corner in 2023, was still really good, and I think really developed himself in one of the best lockdown corners in man coverage that you'll find in Big 12 football. I think he is that good. What his potential at the next level is, well, not quite sure yet, but I think as you look across the board here, you have a lot of guys that's going to be playing football on Sundays or has the potential to play football on Sundays. And quite honestly, at the top of my list, I think is Marquise Siegel. Just have to catch the ball.
Yes. Notice how everybody keeps bringing that up.
Well, it was such a storyline last year.
I know.
He was so good at his job.
Right.
He just dropped a bunch of interceptions.
I hear you.
And some of them should have been house calls.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, just the opportunity he put himself in multiple times. The former North Dakota State Bison. He's from Omaha, Nebraska. He's not from too far away. Boy, and he was Big 12 honorable mention last year. He was honorable mention Big 12 defensive newcomer of the year. Boy, I tell you what, watch out for Marquise Siegel this season. I mean, watch out for the whole group of secondary players, and it doesn't just stop. It doesn't stop with the five guys that I mentioned. I mean, when you think about the depth that this group has, if you go look into the second, third, fourth string guys, the amount of talent they have there's some guys that would go start at other places that in past teams would have been in the two deep when you get into the third and fourth string. Nigel Thomas, Nikendry Steiger, who's been a name that's been brought up the last couple of years, Donovan McIntosh, Cam Salas. I know I'm forgetting a guy or two, but that's just to name a few guys. But let's get to these starters. They spoke to the media yesterday. Let's start with, I love the charisma. I love the personality from Jordan Riley. I cannot wait to watch him play football. When it comes to the defensive side of the football, there is nobody I'm excited to watch more, actually, than Jordan Riley playing the jack safety position, as kind of gotten to know him since spring ball and transferring in from Ball State. I recorded a Meet the Wildcats with him yesterday. A little spoiler alert whenever I do play that. Before he wanted to become a football player, he wanted to be a pro wrestler.
Oh, how perfect.
I know it. He's got the charisma. He's got the personality. He's got the mic skills. Jordan, if you want to do it, you can do it.
Oh, boy.
Not afraid of a little contact neither. But he also talked about in his upbringing and playing other sports in high school, boy, did that prepare him for college football.
So in track, I triple jump, so I kind of feel like that helped me with like the power aspect of just running through tackles and being able to explode through things. And track always helps you with speed, so that's kind of what I feel like how track helped me. And wrestling always helps you with tackling, and because my favorite move was the blast double, so that kind of helped me with coming down here and being able to swoop tackle.
Now, I can't remember who asked, but somebody followed up like, so what's a blast double? I thought that was a double leg takedown, but he did explain it, and it is basically a double leg takedown, but you wrap around their legs and either explode up or drag them to the ground. One other thing from Jordan Riley, the toughest part about the K-State offense.
Their splits. It's different than like your average football team. They kind of split their stuff out wide, and then they have a lot of eye candy. They do a lot of motion and movement, so you got to make sure your eyes is locked in on the right spot, and just keep a track of Avery, because it's like it's a two thing with him. You can either throw the ball, or he's going to take off on you. So you got to know where he's at all times.
I just had a thought going back to the wrestling thing. We need to get Jordan Riley an NIL deal with the WWE. They're pumping out a lot of money for NIL for college athletics. It's not just college football. It's really across the board, male and female athletes. Now, also what's included in that is, they're going to recruit the heck out of you to come be a pro wrestler and learn in their training facility in Orlando. So, Jordan, if you're interested, I don't. Maybe we can make this happen. We can put some word out to WWE. Let's get you some cash and potentially have your future laid out. But you never know if Sundays, that could potentially be an option for Jordan Riley here in the near future. To cornerback Jacob Parrish, what I took away from his press conference was the weight he has put on in the offseason. It's very impressive.
So right now I'm weighing about 200 pounds. Last season I was weighing like 185, and then towards the end of the season I got down to like 175. But to be honest, I feel pretty good. I feel like it's a good weight. I just got pretty stronger and got pretty faster with that weight.
Man, he is like a Felix Anudike-Uzomah when he arrived. What a body transformation that Jacob Parrish has made. Now, when it came to Felix, his was way more noticeable.
Right.
I mean, he was small.
Right.
Relative to where he's now, super small. Now he's jacked. But for Jacob to put on that kind of weight in the offseason is super impressive. Now, this next clip from Jacob I think is going to make a lot of people jealous because he talked about what he eats to put on that weight.
I don't really got a daily calorie goal. If it's in front of me, I'm just going to eat it, and to be honest. So I've been eating. So now I go to a lot of Chipotle. I go there like 3-4 times a week. Give me a burrito or give me a bowl, and then drink about 2-3 protein shakes. So that's working pretty well for me.
I'm not looking to put on weight, so I'm not going protein shakes. I'm not lifting weights or anything.
This isn't fair.
But I love Chipotle. I love Qdoba. I love those kind of restaurants.
There can be no one in this world that you put the stuff in front of and they just eat it.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, he's got the metabolism. Of course, he's young. He's probably born with the metabolism, and he's going to use those calories to his advantage when he can. But I mean, if he's going to Chipotle and those kind of places all the time, that's the kind of food I could eat every day. Every day. I love it. And I love both those restaurants. There's not a restaurant like that I've never I've experienced, and I've loved them all. AJ, do you have another severe weather update?
Yes, eastern Washington and west central Marshall now in a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15 tonight, and also the listening area is in a watch until 1 a.m. tomorrow morning. So just that update for you here on News Radio KMA, and of course stay tuned as more severe weather coverage continues to break along.
All right, so we'll pick up the pace a little bit talking about the K-State defense so we can continue to squeeze in all those severe weather updates. One more clip I'll play from VJ Payne, a returning safety who started, I think, all games last year. He spoke about Jordan Riley.
Jordan Riley, that's my guy. He's my locker buddy. But, Jordan Riley, practice, one of his good things is he tracks the ball really well. When he's at Jack and then on the field. At practice, he doesn't stop his feet when he's in the open field. He runs through tackles. Great open field tackler. He knows how to fit in the box, read the gaps where he needs to go. So he's a really good addition to the team at that Jack position. That's my guy. I like having him on the field.
I said on a previous show, if I was able to watch one player on offense or special teams in one play, full speed before the season started, I'd like to see Dylan Edwards return a kick. If I had to pick out one player for one play on the defensive side of the football, go full speed, one play in practice, it's Jordan Riley and a play to the flats. Screen pass, smoke screen, or a running play, whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be picky there. Surprise me. I want to see Jordan Riley, full speed, go make a play. I want to see what happens. I think that could be very entertaining, and I think he could make a good impression. Even if he doesn't make the tackle,
right?
Just his pursuit to get to the football, I think potentially could be unparalleled with just a few other guys on this team, with the tools he brings to the table. Okay, let's take a break. I'm sure we'll get another severe weather update after the break. And when we come back, let's hear from linebackers coach Steve Stanard after these words.
Your home for K-State sports.
He's got space. Slingshot game winner, Jacob Pullen.
This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
How late is this severe thunderstorm watch?
Till 1 o'clock tonight.
1 o'clock, yeah. Entire listening area. Yeah, we're back on the game. Mitch Fortner, Trey Coverdale, and AJ Shaw. So, since we got severe weather going on, let me just get right to the audio. Us media got a chance yesterday to get a little insight, get a little depth update on what's going on with the K-State linebackers. Here's the meeting with K-State linebackers coach Steve Stanard.
Terry Kirksey has had a good fall camp and really encouraged about where he's at. I mean, we have 3 really capable Mike linebackers in Austin Romaine, Bill Palmer, and Terry Kirksey. So that's really encouraging. It gives us some flexibility, potentially, of moving one of those guys potentially to another linebacker spot. Asa Newsom has had a good fall camp because he didn't have spring football. Right. And he hasn't played football for a year now because he got hurt back in September, maybe. Right. I can't remember when he had the surgery. But so, without spring ball, been encouraged by Ace's progress. Dez is a big help. He's always in Ace's ear, talking to him and bringing him along. So Dez is helping to flatten that curve.
The confidence for Asa since having that, is it starting to come back? I
think so. I think those guys with ACLs, it's all about the confidence. And then, as camp wears on, they get a little sore, and sometimes they have better days than others. But I think he's doing well because his knee brace actually broke, and they had to order him a new one. And so he went a couple of days without that knee brace, and I was like, hey, buddy, you doing okay? Yeah, it feels great.
How frustrating has it been with Marinko to not have him full go? Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, how much do you think he can eventually help you? He's a good-looking player.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely set him back, a little bit developmentally without having him in spring football. But he's played a lot of football, and he's a strong, physical young man. And so today was probably his first day of really getting back in there. But I think, Alec is just going to continue to develop over the course of the season, which adds some more depth, which may allow us to move some people around. But, Alec is a smart kid, wants to be out there. And, he was a captain, at New Mexico. And so obviously he has, some leadership skills. It's just a matter of assimilating, into our culture. And our guys have been fantastic in welcoming him. We got a really good room there in the linebacker room.
What about behind Austin and Dez? Which guys are at which spots?
So Rex Van Wy and Zach Wittenberg are at will right now with our Mike situation. With we have Bo and Austin, and then Terry. Is really coming on. Now that Alec's back on the field, we have the potential to potentially move one of those guys, over to Will. Be able to take some reps off of Austin Moore on base downs. On dime downs, we have ways to get some reps off of him. But it's going to be who's going to be our base down backup Will.
What about Sam?
Yeah, Sam, Dez and Asa are really doing a solid job there. Really encouraged with Asa coming off the knee. And then, Dez, he had hip surgery. And so both of them have been, knock on wood, stayed very healthy in camp. And then so that third Sam, we're still working through right now.
There's a popular radio host in town that says Des Purnell could be all Big 12 type of guy this season. This could be a big year for him. But how does he get to that next level from last year to this year? What's that big move for him?
I think, Des is new to linebacker. And so I think the thing that Des, he's a very smart player. He's good in his pass drops. He understands his run fits. He's heavy-handed, really good block destruction skills. Where Des is working hard right now is his pass rush. And a lot of times all conference comes from stats. And if you're a linebacker and you don't have sacks, it hurts you. And so I think the more sacks that he can, tally will help him in that situation. So he's working on his pass rush.
What's the report on Max of South Dakota State?
Oh, I appreciate you asking. He's doing good. He's enjoying it. He's a football junkie, and he's really fortunate to be part of a great program up there. We got a ton of respect for Coach Rogers and his staff. So he's fortunate to be in that situation. So it's hard on mom and dad, not to see him every day, but he's doing a good job.
So on that last question, that's, of course, in reference to Max Stanard, who played defensive back for 2 seasons at Manhattan High. Now he's with the defending 2-time national champions at the FCS level in South Dakota State. He's a jackrabbit. And, of course, the popular radio host I was referencing there in that first question was B1047 morning show host Mike Tamont. We take our final timeout. Ask Us Anything wraps it up next.
This poor man is crying. Why? He missed the game. You know you can always check out the Game podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and at newsradiokman.com.
Shout out to our listeners in Idana, Kansas. Really small town. Like, we're talking less than 100 people.
Let me just say this right now. I love you out in Idana. I apologize for butchering your town name.
I know Idana because when I was in grade school, the kids that lived there would come up to Morganville. But they're just south of Highway 24. Idana, Kansas. Camped out there a few times.
I can confirm Morganville doesn't look like it's yet a part of the storm, but it'll probably be hidden near the Clay Center area shortly. All right, I got kind of a convoluted question today, so pay attention. Have you ever succeeded while you were trying to fail intentionally?
Oh, yeah. All the time. I mean, I think of like board games or video games. I'm playing against Lindsay's kids or Lindsay herself, and I try sandbagging a little bit and, give them a shot to win because I'm a winner. What can I say? I win. And then somehow I just win. I just keep winning.
So I have 2 examples of this.
Okay.
Actually, 3 examples. When I was younger, I was really good at chess. There was a chess class that I would take every day after a summer camp I went to. I'd face this kid every single day, and I would beat him. And he was not a very... he was a really bad loser. Worse than I am. Like, he would freak out, he would melt down, everything like that. So I would start intentionally trying to play like garbage so he could win. I beat him one time because he kept making too many mistakes. Safe to say he had a meltdown about that. There was another time I tried to fail and I ended up succeeding. We were on a baseball trip in high school down in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. It's a suburb of Nashville. It's near Middle Tennessee University. There was a dunk tank. A teammate of ours gets up on the dunk tank. I get up there. I kind of just lollygagged the softball in there. End up hitting the dang target and dunking my teammate. Safe to say I was a little surprised by that happened. So, yeah, there have been examples of me failing and ultimately succeeding when I'm trying to fail.
Well, there's been a time that backfired greatly because, here's another example of what you asked for. So my dad built a bar in the garage. It's really cool, and we're actually just up there this past weekend because my sister and myself, we have birthdays pretty close to each other, so it's like a birthday barbecue or whatever. But a couple of times prior to that, we went up there, and my dad has a dartboard, and it's very competitive. It's a lot of fun. Lindsay and I are playing against each other, and I let her win the first game. I intentionally let her win, and then I started trying.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. And then she beat me again. And then she beat me again. She beat me again. And
you got beat by a ringer.
Oh, man.
So, Troy, are there times where you intentionally let Monica win at something?
No, because I was not raised to ever do that. If you knew my grandparents on my mom's side of the family, my maternal grandparents, they were the type that they were so focused on beating you in a hand of cards that a tornado could blow by and it wasn't going to disturb them from the table. True story. Actually, yes, severe thunderstorm. You wondered if the house was going to still be standing. They weren't going into the shelter. Yeah, my parents love to tell that story.
Well, going back to my first story, though, to be honest, there's been very few times I've actually let anybody win. Everybody gets their wins against me once in a while. As a matter of fact, Lindsay's son did beat me in a game of college football 25, but I will say I was Colorado State. He was North Carolina.
Okay.
He had a much better team, but I couldn't stop throwing interceptions.
Oh, so you were Colorado State.
Big time.
I guess I could ask this to Mitch really quickly. What's on the agenda tonight for the birthday celebration?
So the birthday's tomorrow, but we got to do things tonight because I'm really busy tomorrow. I can't even do lunch with my not lunch. My parents were going to come to town. We're going to try to do something. I just don't have the time. I've already made too many plans to do a bunch of things, so we're going to get together on Saturday with my parents. But tonight we're going to just do dinner and a movie. There's a particular movie I've been wanting to see, so we're going to go see it.
And what's that movie really quick?
Twisters.
I figured.
Got to finally go see it. Plus, we're going to try We're going to try Aggieville Brewing Company. Haven't done it yet. It looks really good, which, by the way, is a new sponsor for Power Cat Game Day. Very excited to team up with them. So we're going to go try Aggieville Brewing Company here soon. For AJ, Troy, and Mitch, keep it locked here to K-Man for the latest on severe weather coverage. Go Cats.